Hey, welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking out the channel. A toast to the cats. Let me tell you something, dude. I just had about as many shots as the Carolina Hurricanes did tonight. What a friggin' beatdown by the champs tonight on the Carolina Hurricanes. My God. Look, this team is so damn dominant, and the way they just take the will of their opponents is truly something to behold. But the first two games of this series has been, it has been a sight to behold as to how bad the Panthers are beating the holy hell out of the Carolina Hurricanes. They get them tonight 5-0. 5-0 tonight to take a 2-0 series lead. First two games on the road, going back to Sunrise with a hope to finish this thing off, man. The way they're playing, they look like they got sweep on their mind. Seth Jones said they wanted to get greedy, and they were greedy little pigs today. Oh, they were getting so filthy with it. Right out of the gate, Gustav Forsling scores for the Cats, and it took 1 minute and 17 seconds for them to get up 1-0. A real piss whistle from Gus, who gets his first goal of the postseason. 18th Panther. Every defenseman now has a goal for the Cats. It's unbelievable. It's just coming from everywhere with this Florida Panthers team. The rest of this first period, for me, two big things happen in this first period. We'll get to the good, and then we'll get to the awful. The good part of it is this was very clearly the best game Matthew Tkachuk has played since the Tampa Bay Lightning series. We had Brian Boucher today on Tobin and Leroy. You guys can go check out that interview. And I asked Brian, there's a lot of talk. Tkachuk's not saying anything. He's a hockey player. He's obviously a liar. Paul Maurice is saying he's 100%. I think by eye, everybody says he hasn't looked that. And Boucher agreed. He's like, look, I don't think he looks 100%. Not that he's ever been the most fleet of foot skater, but he doesn't look that way. I thought that Tkachuk looked like he had just a little bit of extra pep in his step tonight. Like, he looked physically the best that he did. And it really, it paid dividends because he got the assist on the Forsling goal to set that puppy up. But then Carter Verhaeghe going wrap around the goal. Tkachuk's right there, stick right by Anderson to put the Cats up 2-0. And then the best part of his night might have been what he did with Svechnikov, because Chucky just absolutely being an antagonist. He was in full menace mode tonight, playing the Canes like an absolute fiddle. Like, he just had it all working for him. So that was a beautiful thing to see, just getting in their head. And so Chucky gets Svechnikov to retaliate on him, and the Cats go on their first power play. Sergei Bobrovsky, who had his third postseason shutout tonight, not a busy night for him, but probably had the death knell of the game tonight, and that was a shorthanded opportunity by the Carolina Hurricanes, stoned by Sergei Bobrovsky. That put Carter Verhaeghe with a blast to Sam Bennett with the little redirect, and the Cats go up 3-0, and it looks absolutely brutal for Carolina right now. Their team looked completely broken. The Panthers get called for too many men on the ice, so Carolina would go on their first power play of the night. Nosek had a sick-ass block on that one. No goals going into the second period. The big piece of news out of this, though, which we would find out coming right out of the break, was Sam Reinhart took a dirty rat bastard hit from Sebastian Aho, and it looked terrible. He went low. He went at his knee, went from the side. Aho, they said on the broadcast, oh, he's not a dirty player. I've seen tweets of him doing this garbage before. I'm doing this before Paul Maurice, so I don't know any light if he's going to shed any light on this. Perhaps on the good end of it, they were cautious just because it was such an ass kicking. But you see anybody get hit there, you get a little bit queasy. So I'm nervous about that. I mean, obviously Rhino, last year's hero, Cats leading scorer. If it's the worst, could you get through this series without him? It very much seems like that. Can they win the championship without him? I mean, their depth looks unreal right now. Fine. But you don't wanna. And we know how important Rhino is. And so that one is definitely it's a blow. It's a blow. And I'm sure for the rest of the series they could probably bring up Sam Miskevich and get some of that. But, the clutches, the know-how, the chemistry, all that stuff is tough. And then obviously what he brings defensively. You're talking about a Selke finalist for the Cats. And that is something I don't know if you could get from the Rook. So they'll have to figure that out, and see where they go from there. But Sebastian Aho, dude, like, count your friggin' days, because I can't imagine. I mean, they were already getting pissed off at him. Tkachuk was going at him the rest of the night. I can't imagine the Cats are pleased with what happened. Second period starts off. Aho did get a goal, or so he thought, off what looked like a Tkachuk turnover, but it actually went off Brent Burns' stick. Excellent challenge by the Florida Panthers. They get a look. They call a timeout. They take a look at it. Tkachuk calls for it right away, saying it wasn't off of him. Brent Burns was offside, so instead of it being 3-1 early goes of the second period, it's wiped away, and it's still 3-0. A huge challenge by the Panthers, risking the potential of going 3-1, then having to let the Canes go back on the power play. They thought it was worth it, and that was probably any shot of life the Canes had. They lost it in that moment, and you started getting a lot of physicality from this. You had big hits from AJ Greer, couple of good looks for the Cavs from Rodriguez and Bennett, but the big one, Ekblad falls down. The Canes have a 2-on-1. Nice play by Gustav Forsling to deter Jarvis, but the crowd, then that was it for the crowd. They lost it on this team. They start chanting, "Shoot the puck, shoot the puck, shoot the puck, shoot." They were rats off a ship on this team, dude. Rats off a ship on this team. And just to put a little insult to injury, the Florida Panthers go up 4-0. Sam Bennett scores. Carter Verhaeghe with the wraparound attempt yet again. Gets the rebound off the pad of Anderson. And by order of the Peaky Blinders, Sam Bennett, call him Benny, call him the Honey Badger, call him the Lorax, call him whatever you want. Boom. Second goal of the night for him. And the Panthers looking absolutely pristine with all of this because, and Verhaeghe, third assist on the night for him. He was absolutely huge. Benny's got a huge pair, being in the right place there, basically on big blast set up by Carter Verhaeghe. Really, really great stuff. Matthew Tkachuk's got a goal and an assist, and you're going into the third period with just an absolute vice grip on this game. They pulled Anderson. Tkachuk and Aho start getting into it. Then you have AJ Greer getting with Stankoven a little bit. They're getting into it. And then Nico Mikkola, I mean, he sends Jarvis to high hell. I mean, like, that was such a hit by the Condor, even though he's still the polar bear to me, dude. Like, I don't care. But Seth Jarvis, like, got sent into another zip code. He was stumbling and mumbling. Like, he couldn't gather himself after the hit from Meeks. So definitely in the third period, like, the Panthers shut the water off on the Canes, but like the physicality and the bad blood picked up all the way in that third period. And to be honest with you, the Panthers were playing to finish the shutout, and it wasn't, what did Bob finish with? I think he faced 17 shots tonight, so they didn't even get to 20. And I would say, I think it was 9 through 2 periods. Man, they absolutely just demoralized, broke, humbled the Carolina Hurricanes. And Rob Brindamore, I don't know what you say after this, man. Like, last time this all happened, you said it was a sweep. That wasn't a sweep. This is so the opposite. A team that's now lost 14 straight, a franchise that's now like 14 straight conference final games. And now you got to go to Sunrise with the hope you can split. The Panthers, this is a great stat today by George Richards, the great George Richards, longtime Florida Panthers reporter. And he said the Panthers are the 6th team in Stanley Cup playoffs history to score 5 or more goals in 4 consecutive road games. The Panthers, their last games, 5-0, 5-2, 6-1, 6-1. Yeesh. So just absolutely annihilated them. Really was something. The only thing left to note in the third period, tempers boiled over a little bit. Marchand got his get back on Gostisbehere. Little in the back at 2. Got a penalty for getting into with Aho a little bit. Come on, bro. Fin on fin crime. Let's he's I know the Panthers cannot be happy with this going down. I mean, they already dealt with the thing that I think pisses them off is like both of these games have felt like they were going out of hand. Like you had the Marchand thing with Gostisbehere hitting him. And yeah, I know that Marchand took a run at him. Like Marchand's no choir boy for sure, but you shoot the puck right at him. But the Rhino hit, it just didn't smell right, dude. It was just like, we all kind of, I'm not going to try and act like a Leafs fan and want people taken away in handcuffs or nothing like that. But from my perspective, this is now 2 games in a row where the game has basically felt over, and the Canes have tried to get a little dirty with something. You had Svechnikov do the thing to Bobrovsky the last game with the drive-by, and now you have this with the dirty-ass hit on Sam Reinhart. So doesn't sit well with me by any means. And I think was it Olczyk on the broadcast who's like, yeah, you got to figure out, you got to, even if it's going after Bobrovsky. Like, why are you advocating for this, dude? Like like that's what you got to go take out the. You got to take out, dude. You got to have Vanacek in there today, and you know me, I love me some Bobrovsky. Nobody loves Sergei Bobrovsky more than old Tobes over here, right? That's my guy. But like, dude, you could have had Vanacek. You could have put Nico Mikkola in goalie gear tonight. They might have shut out this team. Like it was, I think Bob probably had like, of the 17 saves, 3 that he broke a sweat for. Like he was not in. I mean, aside from that shorty that he stopped and like a backhand when it was already 4-0, Bob had himself a stroll today, dude. This is about as easy a shutout for the goalie as you can have, but it's still his third one of the postseason, 6th overall. So he's doubled up his play. He's doubled up his playoff shutouts in this one run alone. So yeah. But like Carolina was like embarrassingly bad. And not only the crowd shots, you emptied out their arena, you had them completely turn on the team by the end of the second period. Even like the power plays they got on, like where Etu's put in the box, like Marchand got more shots on. Like he got 2 good looks and 1 shot on goal. That was more than Carolina had, and that happened multiple times on the kill today, where the Panthers felt like they were spending the majority of the time when in Carolina's zone. Like they never got the shorty, but like it was woof. Just unbelievable. Panthers would end because Burns was playing with a broken stick. So Ekblad with a big blast and BFF Alexander Barkov with the tip in. gives you the little captain's stick raise, 5-0. Just a complete boot to ass game. Cheeks, I don't even know if you could call them squeaky in Carolina. Like, they have to be deflated cheeks at this point. Like a bad BBL, dude. Like a bad BBL used with Fix-A-Flat. That's what that's where the cheeks of the Carolina Hurricanes are right now. They have been completely humbled and humiliated through these first two. And I see a lot of people who are like, well, the Leafs should feel better about themselves. Yeah, I guess. There's definitely a part of you that looks at this and you're like, I will say as a Panthers fan, I'll be like, yeah, this team's not anywhere near as good as the Leafs, which isn't surprising. I think their side of the bracket was softer. The Panthers had to go through basically their division, which was a monster this year and highly contested. So, and for all that building does get loud, but the Panthers have completely eviscerated the crowd because they've gone out to huge leads early on. These games have been, you basically turned the crowd on their team early on. Just a mauling for the Cats. Well done. Back to Sunrise. Maybe we'll bring out the cleaning supplies in a couple games. The way this thing's going, we'll see, dude. This is an absolute bloodbath so far.